Trump shakes things up again. Well, folks, it seems the man with the most consistent thing about him being his inconsistency has done it again. Donald Trump, the former president and ever-controversial figure, has once more thrown a curveball into the political and economic landscape. That's right, Donald Trump, the tariff titan, has announced sweeping changes to his, you guessed it, tariff plan. This isn't just a minor tweak or a small adjustment. We're talking about a complete overhaul that could have far-reaching implications. I know what you're thinking, tariffs? That sounds about as exciting because this time the stakes are higher, and the potential impact is much broader than you might initially think, and normally I'd agree with you. But these changes have the potential to impact everything from the price of your morning coffee to the future of international trade. Imagine waking up one day to find that your favorite coffee beans have doubled in price, or that the cost of everyday goods has skyrocketed. So, what exactly has our tweeter-in-chief decided to do this time? In his usual fashion, Trump took to social media to announce his latest plan, leaving economists and political analysts scrambling to make sense of it all. In a nutshell, he's proposing significant adjustments to the tariffs imposed on goods imported from various countries, including some of our closest allies and biggest trading partners. This move could potentially strain relationships and alter the dynamics of international trade. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the nitty-gritty details of import duties and trade deficits, but it's important to understand that these changes are not just numbers on a spreadsheet. They have real-world consequences that could affect businesses, consumers, and the economy at large. But what I will say is this: these changes could have a ripple effect throughout the global economy, and you, my friend, are standing right in the splash zone. The interconnected nature of today's world means that a policy shift in the U.S. can send shockwaves across the globe. Now, before you start panicking and stockpiling canned goods like it's the apocalypse, let's take a deep breath and try to understand what these changes might actually mean for you, your wallet, and the future of America's place in the world. It's easy to get caught up in the headlines, but a deeper look can provide some much-needed perspective, because trying to predict what Trump will do next is about as reliable as a weather forecast from a magic 8-ball. His unpredictability is both his trademark and the source of much of the anxiety surrounding his decisions. But that's never stopped us from trying before, has it? Whether you're a political junkie, an economist, or just someone trying to make sense of it all, the conversation continues. So gather your friends, debate the possibilities, and stay tuned, because with Trump, you never know what's coming next. As we navigate these turbulent times, it's crucial to stay informed and engaged. The decisions made today will shape the world of tomorrow, and understanding the implications is the first step in preparing for whatever comes our way. History has shown us that trade policies can make or break economies, influence political alliances, and even lead to significant shifts in global power. Trump's latest move is just another chapter in this ongoing saga. So stay curious and don't be afraid to ask questions. The world of tariffs and trade might seem complex, but it's a story that affects us all. And as always, we'll be here to break it down for you, one headline at a time. The price of dinner. Will your groceries cost more? Let's talk about the thing that keeps most of us up at night: food. Or, more specifically, the cost of food. It's something we all have to deal with, and it's a topic that affects everyone, regardless of where you live or what you do. See, tariffs, as boring as they may seem, have a sneaky way of showing up in the most unexpected places. They might sound like a distant, abstract concept, but their impact is very real and very close to home, like, say, your local supermarket. The place where you buy your daily essentials, the place that you visit regularly without giving much thought to the intricate web of global trade that makes it all possible. Remember that avocado toast you love so much? It's become a staple for many, a symbol of modern eating habits. But what if I told you that this simple pleasure is under threat? Get ready to pay a premium for it. The cost of avocados, along with many other imported goods, is on the rise, and it's not just a minor inconvenience. Trump's new tariff plan has the potential to significantly impact food prices, and not in a good way. These policies are designed to protect certain industries, but they often have unintended consequences. See, when you slap a tariff on imported goods, those costs get passed down the line, eventually landing on the unsuspecting consumer. It's a chain reaction that starts at the port and ends at your wallet. That means everything from fresh produce to imported cheeses, and even that fancy sparkling water you like could see a price hike. It's not just luxury items, it's everyday essentials that are affected. And let's be real, nobody wants to be caught explaining to their kids why they can't have their favorite snacks because of a trade war. It's a tough conversation that many parents are dreading. Now, the administration argues that these tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs and industries. The idea is to make imported goods more expensive, thereby encouraging consumers to buy American-made products. And while that sounds great in theory, the reality is a bit more complicated. The global economy is interconnected, and disrupting one part of it can have far-reaching consequences. Tariffs can often lead to retaliatory measures from other countries, which can end up hurting the very industries they were designed to protect. It's a delicate balance, and one misstep can lead to a cascade of problems. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Well-intentioned, perhaps, but ultimately disastrous. The initial goal might be noble, but the execution can lead to more harm than good. So the next time you're at the grocery store and you see those prices creeping up, remember, it's not just inflation you're dealing with. It's a complex web of policies and reactions that affect the global market. It's the ripple effect of a global trade war, orchestrated by none other than the tariff man himself. These decisions have real-world consequences that trickle down to every aspect of our daily lives. So as you sit down for dinner, take a moment to think about the journey your food has taken to get to your plate. It's a journey fraught with challenges and complexities, influenced by decisions made far from your dining table. From the farmers who grow the produce to the factory workers who process it, every step of the supply chain is affected by these policies. It's a reminder that we're all connected in this global economy, and as we navigate these uncertain times, it's important to stay informed and understand the broader context of these issues. The cost of groceries is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. So the next time you read about tariffs in the news, remember that it's not just a political issue. It's a personal one, affecting your daily life in ways you might not have realized. And while the future may seem uncertain, one thing is clear. The choices we make today will shape the world we live in tomorrow. So let's make informed decisions and work towards a better, more stable future for everyone. Amigos, neighbors, and trade wars, where do they stand? Our neighbors to the north and south, Canada and Mexico, two countries that share not just borders with the United States, but also deep economic ties and cultural connections. These relationships have been shaped over decades, and they are crucial for the prosperity of the entire North American continent. Canada and Mexico, our partners in the North American Free Trade Agreement, haven't exactly been immune to Trump's tariff tirades. NAFTA, which was designed to eliminate trade barriers and increase economic cooperation, has been a cornerstone of North American trade. However, recent years have seen significant strain on these relationships. In fact, they've been on the receiving end of some of his most aggressive trade moves. These tariffs have not only affected the economies of Canada and Mexico, but have also had ripple effects across various industries in the United States. Remember when he slapped tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, claiming it was a matter of national security? This move was controversial and sparked a lot of debates about the true motivations behind such tariffs. Turns out our friendly neighbors to the north weren't too thrilled about that. The Canadian government responded with their own set of tariffs, targeting American products in a tit-for-tat retaliation. This trade spat highlighted the fragility of even the closest economic partnerships. And then there's China, the big kahuna in this whole trade war saga. China's rise as a global economic powerhouse has been both a boon and a challenge for the United States. Trump has repeatedly accused China of unfair trade practices, currency manipulation, and stealing American jobs. These accusations have led to a series of tariffs and counter-tariffs, escalating tensions between the two largest economies in the world. And while there's no doubt that China plays fast and loose with the rules sometimes, the reality is that the U.S.-China trade relationship is far more complex than Trump makes it out to be. The interdependence between the two countries means that any disruption in trade can have significant global repercussions. These tariffs have the potential to disrupt global supply chains, increase prices for consumers, and slow economic growth. The interconnected nature of modern economies means that a tariff on one product can lead to price increases across a range of goods, affecting everyday consumers. And for what? To score some political points and appease a domestic base that feels increasingly left behind by globalization, the political motivations behind these trade moves are often complex and multifaceted, involving not just economic considerations but also national security and domestic politics. It's a dangerous game he's playing, and one that could have far-reaching consequences for all involved. The stakes are high and the outcomes are uncertain. As we navigate these turbulent times, it's crucial to understand the broader implications of these trade policies and their impact on the global economy. Campaign promises versus reality TV. What happened? Now, remember back in 2016 when candidate Trump was rallying the crowds with promises to bring back American jobs and make America great again? Tariffs were a big part of his message, a way to punish those countries he felt were taking advantage of the U.S. "We're going to win so much, you're going to get tired of winning," he'd say. Well, because it seems like the only ones getting tired are the American businesses and consumers bearing the brunt of these trade wars. The reality is that tariffs are a blunt instrument, a sledgehammer in a world that requires surgical precision and careful planning. They might offer a short-term boost to certain industries, but in the long run, they often do more harm than good. And while Trump might have campaigned on a platform of economic nationalism, the global economy is far too interconnected for such simplistic solutions to work. So what's the takeaway here? It seems like the only thing predictable about Trump's trade policy is its unpredictability. And while he might claim to be the master of the deal, the evidence suggests